first month of the 2023 MLB season is officially in the books, and I thought it would be a fun idea to go through every single team in Major League Baseball and talk about their very best player of the last month. We're going to do this for every single month of the 2023 season because I want to be able to look back and see who was the best player for the Guardians in August, who was the best player for the A's to begin the season. I want to see who those guys are. So without further ado, we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to go in alphabetical order, starting with the Arizona Diamondbacks and finishing with the Washington Nationals. Now, like I just mentioned, we are starting off with the Diamondbacks, and as much as I wanted to go with Corbin Carroll, I have to give it to Zach Gallen. In his first 6 starts of the season, he has a 1.7 F-WAR, that is WAR on Fangraphs, and if we take a look at the deeper numbers, he has been stupid good. If we're comparing Zach Gallen to the rest of the starting pitchers in baseball, he's top 4% in strikeout percentage, he's top 9% in walk percentage. This guy has been an absolute monster to a tune of a 2.15 ERA in those first 25 starts. Zach Gallen has been one of the best pitchers not only in the National League, but in all of Major League Baseball. I am so happy that I can say that Ronald Acuna Jr. is back to being a top 10 player in all of baseball. To begin the season, he had 4 home runs with a 352 batting average, a 440 on base percentage, and if we take a look at the kind of sabermetrics numbers, he had a 166 WRC plus. That is mind-boggling. He had a 1.6 F-WAR, and then the baseball savant numbers are wild. Ronald is yet again top 2% in max exit velocity. He's top 4% in hard hit percentage. He's top 16% in barrels. This guy is not striking out. He's taking walks. He's stealing bases, as he has 13 through the first few weeks of the season. I think that Ronald Acuna Jr. honestly could be the next guy in the 40-40 club. So for me, he's got to be my best Atlanta Brave to begin the 2023 season. This next guy, Jorge Mateo of the Baltimore Orioles, he is making me filthy rich. I just like Jorge Mateo, so I've always collected his cards, and I was getting them for pennies on the dollar. Now I'm flipping them because I'm getting them graded at PSA. I am making so much money off this kid, and people made fun of me for saying that Mateo could be a 20 home run, 40 stolen base guy. He's on pace for that right now. Through March and April, Jorge Mateo is hitting 347 with 6 home runs, a bunch of stolen bases. I think that he has 10 already. He has a 1.5 WAR because he's playing amazing defense at shortstop. Jorge Mateo is top 1% in sprint speed, and if we take a look at the baseball savant numbers, he's top 12% in max exit velocity, so he's hitting the baseball harder than he ever has. He's still top 1% in speed. He's playing amazing defense, and he's not really chasing as much as before. So Jorge Mateo, he could be in line to start the 2023 All-Star game in the American League. Alex Verdugo is having himself the best start to a season he has ever had. In his first 29 games between March and April for the Boston Red Sox, he hit 308 with 4 home runs, a 1.1 F-WAR, and he almost had a 380 on base percentage. Combine that with his 134 WRC plus and the fact that he's top 10% in outs above average, he's top 4% in arm strength. This is the year that Alex Verdugo kind of becomes a 5-tool athlete, although you could probably call it 4.5 because the sprint speed, it's not amazing, but it's also not the worst. He's in the top 45%. But also, Alex Verdugo is doing his thing yet again and not striking out. He is not missing pitches inside the zone. He is making pitchers pay. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Cody Bellinger in 2023 is playing like 2019 Cody Bellinger all over again. In 24 games to begin this season for the Cubs, he has 7 home runs, and usually 7 home runs for Cody Bellinger might mean that he's striking out a bunch and not making contact. No, he's hitting 297 with a 158 WRC plus. Again, that's just a fancy OPS. Don't get intimidated by WRC plus or OPS plus. Cody Bellinger has a 1.5 F-WAR on the season. The dude is playing spectacular, not platinum defense, but really good defense in center field for Chicago. I'm almost hoping that they don't ship this guy because he's on a 1-year contract. Maybe if the Cubs don't make the playoffs, they might trade him to a playoff contender. Kind of hoping that that doesn't happen because he seems very comfortable in Chicago. This next player might make you hungry because the White Sox best player to begin March and April of 2023 has been a guy by the name of Jake Burger. He has 7 home runs and an almost 1 F-WAR on the season. Now, the thing that makes Jake Burger stand out to me is if we take a look at his baseball savant, he is absolutely crushing baseballs. He's top 1% in barreling up baseballs, and he is the #1 guy in terms of max exit velocity. Jake Burger just flat out rakes, and he's just 27 years old, so he could probably keep this up for the next few years. Shout out to Jake Burger. He's been a monster. Hunter Green is finally looking like the guy that was picked #2 overall back in 2017 to begin 2023 in his first first 6 starts, he has 28 innings pitched, and he's striking out 32% of the hitters that he's facing. He has a 2.89 ERA, a godly 2.38 FIP, and a 1.1 FWAR. Again, this guy was drafted number 2 overall back in 2017. He was given an extension, and now fast forward to the second month, he is honestly one of the best young pitchers in baseball, and he's making that 6-year, $53 million extension look pretty cheap. And the crazy part is he's really only throwing 2 pitches this year. 56% of the time it's a fastball, the other 40% is a slider, and then some other pitches kind of sprinkled in, but it's really just fastball, slider, kind of like, what's his name, Spencer Strider. Yeah, just 2 pitches really. We're not going to spend too much time on the next player and the next team, the Cleveland Guardians, because we know that Jose Ramirez, he is the heart and soul of this squad. The power hasn't really been there to begin the season. He only has 3 home runs, but he still has a 370 on base percentage. He's hitting 280 with a 123 WRC plus and basically a 1 F4 on the season. Jose Ramirez has been pretty good, just not quite what we're used to. I'm hoping that as the season gets better, he gets better, because a lot of the guys in that Guardians lineup, they're all struggling. You guys might be shocked by my next pick, the Colorado Rockies. It is not going to be someone like Chris Bryant. It is not the shiny new free agent in Jerks and Profar. It is actually their catcher, Elias Diaz. I don't really know exactly how to say it. I'm sorry if I botched it. The dude's hitting 321 with 2 home runs, a 380 on base percentage with a 118 WRC plus. Now, all of those numbers might scream that he might have a higher WRC plus, but again, that's that. It factors in the fact that he plays at Coors Field. The one thing that makes Diaz extra special is he has an absolute host piece as a catcher. So if you're trying to steal bases off of this guy, good luck, because so far to begin the season, he is throwing out 63% of the runners that try and steal on him. That is absolutely elite. This is by far and away one of the easiest picks of the entire video. Eduardo Rodriguez of the Tigers. He's kind of really only been the true productive player of the Tigers to begin the season. If we're talking about pitchers in baseball that are elite at not giving up hard base hits, he's in that conversation. Eduardo Rodriguez, he has started the year with a 2.21 ERA with 30 strikeouts in 36 innings, so he's not going to wow you with the strikeout numbers, but he's been absolutely incredible at missing barrels. He has by far been the most efficient player on the Tigers to begin the 2023 season. Do I think that Hunter Brown is the best player on the Astros? I do not, but has he been the best player for Houston to begin the season? In my opinion, he has. He is striking out almost 30% of the hitters that he's facing. He is still just a rookie. He has a 1.1 FWAR with a 2.37 ERA, a 2.56 FIP, which means that he is not just getting lucky, he is simply dominating opposing hitters. In 5 starts, he has 3 wins, and because Justin Verlander left, I think that Hunter Brown really had to pick up the slack. Guys like Jose Urquidy, they haven't been the best. I mean, you could go with Kyle Tucker, you could go with the easy pick of Yordan Alvarez, but because those guys are kind of tried and true, I'm going to give it to Hunter Brown, who might not make it in the other videos because, I mean, Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez are that special, but for the first few weeks, I'm giving it to Mr. Brown. I'm hoping that one of these months, I'll be able to say that Bobby Witt Jr. was the best player of the month, but for this video, unfortunately, we cannot do that because Vinny Pasquantino, the Italian nightmare, he just stays raking. He's basically hitting 280 with 5 home runs and a 140 WRC plus on the season. The defense, I still feel like there's some room to get better and better, but because he's a first baseman, we don't really take anything away from him if he doesn't have elite defense. I would say that he's pretty average. You know what is not average about Vinny Pasquantino? Getting on base. He never strikes out. He's one of the better first basemen in the American League at taking walks, and his exit velocities are off the charts. Vinny Pasquantino, he's going to be really good for a long time. As much as I love and respect Mike Trout, I cannot give him the edge over Shohei Ohtani. I mean, I don't even have to look up his stats because I've been checking them so often. They're so unicorn-like and so otherworldly. Just mind-blown. 7 home runs while hitting 294. He has a 144 WRC plus and 5 stolen bases in the batter's box. On the mound, I mean, the dude has a sub-2 ERA. The FIP is outstanding. He's striking out hitters left and right. That fastball splitter combination might be the deadliest combination for any starting pitcher in baseball. Shohei Ohtani, he's on pace right now for a 11-12 WAR season. The dude is incredible. The Los Angeles Dodgers, as much as I wanted to give it to Clayton Kershaw, I got to give it to the rookie, James Outman. Not only has James Outman been tasked with replacing Cody Bellinger, a face of the franchise, the dude is straight up keeping up with Cody Bellinger's production, not only from 2019, but what Cody Bellinger's doing this year. James has 7 home runs while hitting 292. He has a mind-blowing, I did not know it was this high, A 165 WRC plus and a 1.5 F4 already. He's only played 29 games this year. And the thing that makes James Outman special is all of the athletic tools he has. He's top 11% in sprint speed. If we're talking about arm strength for outfielders, he's top 8%. And then the most important defensive metric for outfielders, it's called outs above average. He's in the top 92 percentile or top 8%. You guys want to hear a crazy stat? Luis Ariz is the first player since Chipper Jones back in 2008 to enter the month of May with a 400 or better batting average. I think that Chipper Jones hit 418 or something like that. Through March and April, Luis Ariz hit a cool 438. I don't have to say anything else. I know that Braxton Garrett is having an underrated season as a pitcher for the Marlins, and maybe someone like Jazz Chisholm is more talented overall, but Luis Ariz, the fact that he's basically hitting 440 through the first month, that's wild. That's not supposed to happen. Willy Adames has been a superstar since being traded from the Tampa Bay Rays, but the Rays are fine with it because they got Drew Rasmussen in return, and Wander Franco is balling out. But right now, to focus on the best player from the first month for the Brewers, kind of wanted to go with William Contreras just as a fun pick, but I'm going to give it to Adames, who did not have the best first month. The Brewers kind of had a weaker best pick, in my opinion. He had a 113 WRC plus. He had 5 home runs, but because he is so special defensively, he's going to have that WAR. He almost has a 1 F4 on the season. Willy Adames is going to be one of the better shortstops in baseball for the next half decade. He's only 27 years old. And the thing that makes 2023 Willy Adames so much scarier, he is in the top 9% at taking walks to begin the season. That is stupid. He's also top 5% in outs above average. The guy is just a monster. It blows my mind that Sonny Gray did not work out with the Yankees because he seems like he could have worked out. It's just Larry Rothschild and the Yankees fan base, they were so hard on this guy. To begin the season, in 6 starts, 35 innings, Sonny Gray is striking out 29.3% of the hitters that he's facing while only walking 8% of them. He has a 0.77 ERA with a 2.07 FIP and a 1.4 FWAR. I mean, I don't know what you guys want me to say. He throws a cutter, a slider, a sinker, a fastball. I mean, this dude throws a million different pitches. All of them are pretty much plus pitches. He's not going to make the Hall of Fame, but if my kids ask me who is one of the more underrated pitchers of my generation, I'm going to bring up Sonny Gray. He's been good with the Twins. He's been good with the Reds. I mean, to begin his Yankees tenure, he was all right. He had a 2.66 ERA in his first 50 innings as a Yankee. He was amazing as an Oakland Athletic. I mean, honestly, Sonny Gray is very talented. Trust me, guys, I know that chicks dig the long ball, and you all are probably going to get mad at me that I did not choose Pete Alonso, but chicks also dig red circles, and look at the red circles on Brandon Nimmo's Baseball Savant. He's top 4% in outs above average. He doesn't chase. He's really fast, and he is straight up deleting baseballs from existence. To begin the year in his first 26 games, he's hitting 330 with a 435 on base percentage, a 154 WRC plus. His 1.6 F4 is actually top 5 in all of Major League Baseball for positional players. I mean, if you think that Pete Alonso is fun and awesome because he hits home runs, you're right, because he is. Again, I love home runs as much as the next person, and through March and April, Pete Alonso has 10 home runs, 25 RBIs. He's been very productive offensively, but Brandon Nimmo, he gives you everything. That's why he's my best player. That's not just best hitter. Garrett Cole threw 40 innings. 40 innings in his first 6 starts of the season. He struck out 30% of the guys that he faced. He has a 1.11 ERA in those 40 innings, a 2.101 FIP, a 1.7 FWAR. I mean, if we're talking about the best pitcher in baseball right now, you can make the argument that it's actually Garrett Cole over Sonny Gray. When you're comparing a 1.11 ERA to a 0.77 ERA, I know that Sonny Gray has been better, but considering the innings pitched for Garrett Cole, you can make the case that Garrett has actually been better. Yes, that's a real thing. And now that Aaron Judge is on the shelf for the next few weeks, I'm curious if Garrett Cole is going to be a repeat player for the next month, because honestly, I don't know if it's going to be Anthony Volpe, all those other guys. I got Garrett Cole probably going back to back. Let's talk about the best hitter in baseball to begin the 2023 season. I am talking about Brent Rooker of the A's. This guy has shot out like a cannonball. 9 home runs, a 353 batting average, a 465 on base percentage. He is leading baseball in slugging percentage and OPS. I mean, I can't even believe I'm looking at this number, and this number is looking back at me. A 237 WRC plus. He has a 1.5 F WAR, and that's really all offensive WAR because he's not the best defensively. I mean, Brent Roker, if you take a look at his baseball savant, he's not just getting lucky, he's putting the ball in play, the ball is getting hit at high exit velocities, and he's taking his walks as well. Brandon Marsh has been a top 10 player in the National League. Actually, screw that. Brandon Marsh has been a top 10 player in baseball for the Phillies this year. 4 home runs, a .330 batting average with a .418 on base percentage, a 182 WRC plus. Can I interest you in a 1.3 F4 in 27 games? I mean, the kid's only had 98 plate appearances, so if we're talking about WAR per plate appearance, Brandon Marsh is up there for the tops in baseball. He's still top 10% in sprint speed. He's only 25 years old, so it's not like he's an old man. It feels like he's been in baseball for the last few years, but realistically, it's really just his second and a half, maybe third season in professional baseball. The Phillies have made him so much better. This guy is a 5-tool superstar. Speaking of 5-tool superstars, Jack Suwinski of the first place Pittsburgh Pirates, he is 24 years old, and I want to show off his baseball savant right now because look at the chase rate. He's not chasing at pitches outside the zone. He's top 5% in taking walks. He's top 11% in sprint speed. And then all of the other peripherals, he's top 15% in outs above average. He's the leading baseballs in terms of average exit velocity. He has 6 home runs, 18 RBIs, 5 stolen bases with a 10-11 OPS. And if we're talking about WRC plus, a 165 WRC plus, I cannot believe that Jack has been this good. Now, he is striking out 30% of the time, but you kind of give and take when he's hitting 280 and walking 17% of the time. Jack Suwinski, another 5-tool superstar in the making. Shout out to the Pirates. They have been the most surprising team I maybe have ever seen. It's crazy that the Padres are absolutely stacked with talent, but their newcomer, Xander Bogaerts, has been their best player to begin the new season. In 29 games, he has 6 home runs, 13 RBIs. He's only striking out 14% of the time. He has a 153 WRC plus. For me, this is kind of a safe pick, but also it's the easiest pick for me of the video. He has a 1.7 F4, which is by far the most for any positional player on the Padres. He has been a stud and worth every single penny. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to be a fanboy. I'm going to choose Jarred Kelenic over Luis Castillo. I'm going to go with Jarred Kelenic because I just like the kid. Castillo, he's been in baseball for quite some time. He has been shredding up hitters for as long as I can remember. So I don't know if Jarred Kelenic is going to get the opportunity to have a month that was this good really ever again. I'm hoping that he's able to have consistent swings and keep fine-tuning those mechanics. I mean, he has 7 home runs, a .308 batting average with a 173 WRC plus, a 1.3 F4. And the thing that matters a lot to me is he's not really chasing as much as he used to. He's hitting lefties pretty solid as well. We don't have to worry about his arm strength. We don't have to worry about his exit velocities. Those are always going to be there. But can Jarred Kelenic not chase? That's the biggest question. So I'm going to give him the edge just barely over Luis Castillo, who has also been a monster. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I cannot believe that these stats are real. It feels like I'm dreaming right now. Thairo Estrada of the Giants, the former Yankee, by the way, is hitting .346 with 4 home runs, a 153 WRC plus, a 1.5 F4 already. And the crazy part about Thairo Estrada is he can play a bunch of different positions. Now, the baseball savant page doesn't favor him as much, but he's not missing pitches inside the zone. He is chasing a lot, and I don't know if he's going to be in any video going forward, but he's top 15% in sprint speed. When he does connect and barrel up a baseball, he's able to hit it pretty hard. Again, I don't know if Estrada is ever going to be able to replicate the success that he had to begin 2023, but shout out to him. He made today's video. All right, if you're looking away, I need you to check out the screen real quick because my next pick is probably going to annoy a few people because it's not really objective. I'm going to go with Nolan Gorman, even though he has a 0.5 F4 compared to Paul Goldschmidt's 1.2 F4. So if we're just going on value, you would probably say that Paul Goldschmidt should be my pick. He's the reigning MVP. He's got to be my pick. No, I'm going with Nolan Gorman because of the fact that he does have 6 home runs and 22 RBIs. He's leading Paul Goldschmidt in both of those categories. And for me, where I'm going to give the edge to Nolan Gorman, check this out. Nolan Gorman has a 150 WRC plus with runners in scoring position. Paul Goldschmidt has a below 80 WRC plus with runners in scoring position. So the reason why the Cardinals have any of the wins that they have is in large part because Nolan Gorman has been one of the most clutch players in baseball. So for me, I'm going to give him the edge, even though the F4 is not even close. I might be stupid, but I'm going to follow my heart, okay? Also, a massive shout out to guys like Jordan Montgomery. He could have been the pick as well. Maybe Justin Steele for the Cubs. He's been a monster, but because positional players play so much more, I do give the edge to those guys as opposed to guys that throw once every 5 days. One more time, guys, I need you all to be looking at the screen as I'm talking about the Tampa Bay Rays because I don't really have a clear-cut winner for the first few weeks of the 2023 season. Like, it could be Wander Franco because he's leading everyone in F4. But then again, Randy Arozarena, he's stealing bags. I mean, he doesn't have 6 like Wander Franco, but he has 3 stolen bases with 28 RBIs, 7 home runs, and a 1.3 F4. Like, he's actually having a pretty good season. So for me, as good as Wander has been, I mean, he's only striking out 16% of the time. Josh Lowe has been incredible as well. I think I have to give it to Randy. Offensively, Randy is one of the best hitters in baseball. He's top 5% in barrels. He's top 4% in hard hit percentage. I mean, this guy just straight up, just like Yandy Diaz, his teammate, when he makes contact, terrible things happen for opposing pitchers. Wander Franco is going to be in one of these videos, but for March and April's sake, I'm going to give it to Randy Arozarena. I have to. If you have no idea who Jonah Heim is, listen up, because what this kid is doing for the Texas Rangers almost doesn't make sense. He only has 88 plate appearances. He has 5 home runs, 20-something RBIs. Like, let me get the exact RBIs because it's stupid for that little of plate appearances. 22 RBIs. He's striking out 15% of the time, walking almost 12% of the time. He has a 1.5 F4 because he is a switch-hitting catcher that is also elite defensively. He has a 170 WRC plus. Like, some of these guys, I don't quite understand how they've been able to do this, because I know Jonah Heim is good, but these are historic numbers to begin a season for a catcher. And this is no accident. If we take a look at Baseball Savant, he barrels up baseballs. He doesn't strike out. He takes his walk. He's one of the best framers in all of baseball. I mean, Jonah Heim, honestly, he is entering the conversation as a top 5 catcher already. You are looking at your F4 leader to begin the season. Matt Chapman of the Toronto Blue Jays honestly had one of the best starts I've seen in quite some time. 5 home runs with a 384 batting average, a 219 WRC plus. And the thing that makes 2023 Matt Chapman kind of special is the fact that he is top 0%, meaning he is the guy in terms of hitting baseballs hard. Look at all those red circles. I mean, I don't mean to bombard you guys with Baseball Savant and these numbers or statistics that you might have not heard of before, but they are important because they tell the full story. Matt Chapman is destroying baseballs. That doesn't just go away. Just like Jordan Montgomery, Justin Steele, or someone like Kevin Gausman of the Blue Jays, they're probably getting the short end of the stick because they're pitchers. They're playing once every 4, 5, 6 days. So for me, I do have to give it to Matt Chapman. Although Kevin Gausman, I mean, the dude was basically unhittable for the first month. The final team and player of today's video, to me, it was a toss-up. I wanted to go with Mackenzie Gore, but I'm going to give it to Josiah Gray. He's been so good to begin the season. Now, maybe the FIP would suggest that he's getting maybe a tad bit lucky, but he does have a 2.67 ERA. He's striking out 22% of the hitters that he's facing, so it's not Garrett Cole numbers, but through 33 innings, having a 2.67 ERA, that is very valuable. Again, it's not something that he might be able to sustain. Although I do believe in Josiah Gray's ceiling, I don't like the fact that he's not the greatest strikeout guy. He also walks a few more hitters than I would like. The ceiling is very high, and if he keeps on building on the success that he's had, he's only going to get better and better. Obviously, if he keeps on building on it. So that does it for ranking the best players on every single team in the first month of the 2023 MLB season. If I can improve these videos in any way possible, because I am going to be making these all year long, please let me know in the comments down below. And also, if you disagree with any of my picks, maybe you would have given it to Kevin Gausman over Matt Chapman, or someone like Justin Steele over Cody Bellinger. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching until the end. Like, if you made it to this point of the video, you are an absolute saint. You're an angel. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll catch you in the next one.